Right, okay guys, we're here. So now we're gonna be working on this empty boilerplate for the HTML and then just some simple resets in the CSS, and I've already linked them right here. Right. Um, okay. So now we're gonna be talking about the HTML element like we mentioned before. So like I said, it has structure. So we're gonna start with the content. So I'm gonna start with an image because I mentioned an image could be an HTML element. So we're gonna use an image of turtle because I like turtles. So now if we wanna give this a dimension, like because it has its own dimension by picture, everything has its own dimension, but we can alter that and then say image, then we can say that the height should be 400 pixels. Oops. And then the width should be 400 pixels also. So that changes the size, even though it's not really nice to see. So let's make it like a 500. 500. Okay, let me make it a bit shorter here. Maybe 400. Yeah, that's fine. I can live with this. So yeah, that's simple HTML content. So we can alter the content by changing the height and width of it. Simple enough. Hey guys, we're gonna be using this simple div class with a few elements in them, just a header and some text to explain padding, right? So first of all, we're gonna be selecting padding, then give it a width of maybe, let's just say 300 pixels, yeah? 300 pixels, and then the height will be, oops, height will be 20 pixels. Oh, what am I doing? 200 pixels, right? So we can't see any effect yet. So then we can add a padding of 50 pixels, right? So from here we can see that 50 pixels took all sides, but you can simply change this to top, and then it will only take the top and leave the rest. I can change this to right, and nothing will really happen. It will just reset because it has no padding top. It will just go back to the original. And then bottom, oops, the bottom same. But when you do left, it's gonna shift a little bit. Nice. So that was padding in short. It's not really hard, simple really. So yeah, let's move on. Hey guys, we're back and we're gonna be talking about borders this time. So that so now we gotta simply select the borders element and then give it a width of maybe, nah, I feel like 150 is okay, 150 pixels. And then a height of maybe 100 pixels, right? Give it a nice height and width. And then we're gonna give it like a padding. First, we're gonna give it a border just to see, and then you give it like a size, 1 pixels. Let me just make it mm, 10 pixels, fine. 10 pixels, solid. It could be anything. It could be solid. It could be dashed. It could be anything. I'll show you a few just for reference. But I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check that out exactly, right? So we can change the color here. It could be anything you want. RGBA, the color, the hex code like here. But yeah, let me just tone it down a bit. Five's fine. Right, it's a hello. Right, so after that, we can add maybe a padding, oops, a padding of top. Remember, I mentioned we can do it either by individual sides or do it like in all, right? Like the first one we did in all. So padding top of maybe 40 pixels. Whoops, that's that PC pixels. So you see it shifts down in the box, right? And then it could be bottom. Oops. It'll basically just reset. Then right. Remember, it's chronological. I'm not following the particular order right now. It's supposed to be top, right, bottom, and left. So boom, see? So boom, see? It just works like that. Yeah, that's simple enough. So if you just make it like regular padding, it'll take all the size and then just do that. The reason it's not centered is because remember the calculations, right? So basically 40 pixels, it'll add on to the width and the height and add to the content and shift it to that number. So let's say if it's 40, then okay, we'll just, since it adds to it, okay, right? So in the calculation, you remember we said it adds on to the the like the padding left, padding right, then border right, border left, margin right. It all adds up to make the um, to make this possible, right? So now we can use padding and border. Simple enough. Now let's move on to the margin, and I'll explain a few more things. Hey guys, so this is the last part of the box model. So, which is the margin. So I'm going to be using two different div classes with margin and margins 2. So it can be two different elements so we can see. And please note that the H1 is also an element within an element. So it's kind of like nesting. So yeah, there's that. Now let's move on to margins, right? Then we give ourselves a width of 20 pixels, and then a height of 20 pixels also. And then we're going to give ourselves a little border, pixels, solid. But let's use outline dashed this time, right? Dashed, black, boom. Oh, it's a little bit small. So maybe make it a 60, 60, right? Nope. 100, flip it. Nice. Looks clean, see? So now let's give it a padding, right? I'm gonna use 60 pixels. It's gonna be barely around break the right. So remember we mentioned that the calculations have to add up, right? So if this is adding onto the width, you're supposed to like, you know, fix it in that order and such. So like it's breaking the box because it's adding 50 to it's actually adding 100 to the top. Like it's actually adding 100 to the width and the height. So it's like basically 200 right now. That's why it's breaking the box. So you got to be a bit more careful with that. So let's just say 20. So it's casual. Not really casual, but like 10 is fine. 10's a bit centered everywhere. So yeah, it basically adds to the height and the width. So basically, that's that. But there are proper ways to center it. You can just, if you want to center it in the middle of it, you can just say text align center, and boom, it's centered perfectly, you know. But we're not doing that today. We're just going to do this. Awesome. So now we've not really done anything special. We have our padding, we have our content, we have our padding and our border, but there's no margin. So let's wait on. Let's hold on to that thought real quick. We're just gonna copy this, paste that, and then change the name, margins 2. Boom, you have that. So we realize that with this, they're so attached, right? Let me just make them a real 5. So we can see. So you see it's intertwined. So now how to fix this is by using margins, because you remember it says it gives space around the content. So remember the content, I mean the HTML element, we're gonna be, so remember it gives you space around the element. So the element we're using to style is the margins, the whole div, right? So now by fixing this, you can say, remember you can use margin top, margin whatever, but here we're gonna be using margin bottom only. Margin bottom with 40 pixels just for effect. Boom, separated. Simple enough, right? Yep, that's basically it. You don't need to add any more margins to the the second one again, or you can just, if you don't want to do it in the first one, you can simply do it in the second. It does not really matter like that. But I just like to keep my things organized. So margin top this time because it's at the bottom. You can say 40 pixels. Whoops, 30 just came out. Yeah, that's that. Simple enough. So now I'm going to be explaining why we use box sizing, border box, right? So the reason we do that is because it sets everything to fit the width, right? So if I take out, like if I take this out, everything's gonna expand and add up. So basically, this is like a guardian, like a rule. So if it's 100 pixels, it's gonna give you 100 pixels in size, because if you take it out, it's gonna add to it. So basically, the padding 10 pixels is gonna add to the total width, right? And the height too, because I remember I mentioned the calculations for you, right? So now it makes sense. So basically, from my previous videos, you always see I call them resets, right? So if I take these out, they'll have, see, they'll give you a weird like default margin and padding, but we don't want that. So we reset it by giving it a universal selector and then giving them properties so it affects everything. So yeah, we've answered the second question, which is how to use them properly. So now we're going to be moving on to the third question. Why are they important, or what are they used for? So simply, I'm not going to lie, there's only one reason. They're used for layout and design, really. That's basically it. Sorry if I kept your hopes up, right? Then yeah, so that's basically it for this video. I thank every single one of you that tuned in. It's a very different video, simpler, shorter. That's what I was trying to go for here. If you have any comments, if you did not like anything, please let me know in the comment section. Subscribe, like, share the video, and yeah, comment also what you would like to see, because I'll be making more lifestyle type content soon. So yeah, watch out for that. And yeah, appreciate y'all. Thank you. Have a great day. Peace.